Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Pressing ever forward through time, playing everything. Will he ever catch up to modern gaming? Tune in to find out. Welcome everyone to May 1982, where we last played Scramble for the Commodore VIC-20 in the United Kingdom. And as usual, we are playing everything that was released that we couldn't find the definite release date for. So this is everything that was sometime in May. And let's see what our next game is. Yay, we get to go to the arcades! We're going to the arcades to play some Skybase in Japan. Let's take a look at Skybase and see what it's all about, starting with the advertisement flyer. Ooh, very nice. All Japanese on the front, but man, it looks honestly classic, like early 80s. Late 70s maybe. Probably cashing in on the space craze, but we're looking at ships, sci-fi theme. We have all the examples of the arcade cabinet there. It almost makes me think of something we saw from 1978, like Space Invaders. And then we flip it over in the back and we have it's in English, Fantastic Space Adventure by Omori Electric Company. Rocket firing aimed at the space from the Earth. Suddenly the black hole appears from space, and realizing the meteor, space birds there must be some translation error that sounds a little off. Continuous and exciting fighting will lead you to a fantastic space adventure. Unlike any space game you've ever known. Let's just keep calling it Space Game to get people to play it in the arcades. There's the arcade PCB, and for controls we have fire and missiles, only on a two-way joystick, so it's probably doing the classic let's move left, right, and fire, with an example of the screenshot. Alright, so let's go to the arcades and play some Skybase by Omori Electric at sometime in May 1982. Omori Electric, I don't think we've seen anything by them. They're just cashing in on, can we get some money, please, from this whole video game craze? Omori Electric, there's our attract mode, showing us the point values. Gotta know what they are in 1982. And if you saw this in Japan, would it really stand out when it was first released? Of all the other games out there, they got the really classic Starfield we saw from Galaxian, and so many games that want to do the space craze game. All right, so the track mode's giving us an idea of how it works. Let's put some coins in. That sounds like an error. That's the sound it makes when you put a coin in. There's not a problem with the machine. Let's push start and let's go. No way! Cool. The ditty in the front is very reminiscent of Star games. So here we go. Starting what looks like we're playing Tempest, but we're not. All I can move is left and right. But good night, the sound effects are the exact same thing over and over again. Let me just wait. Okay, it's just repeating a loop over and over again. And all I'm able to do is move left and right and not die. It's very akin to stuff we played early 80s. And now we have switching it up already to another screen. There is a meteor storm coming at us. Gosh, they are frantic, and it's switching up again. Man, they're keeping us on our toes. And now it feels like we're playing Phoenix. Where's my second shot? Oh, my second shot's gone. I only got one. Oh, wow, yeah, the shot's coming fast. I was expecting their wings to fly off. Okay, yeah, you do have to hit them on the sides, but they don't split apart like in Phoenix. Yeah, there's got to be some kind of sound error or glitch happening, because every time I shoot or fire a shot, it sounds like monotonous tones playing in the background. It doesn't appeal at all. The sound is terrible. Or it's repeating itself. It's like it's trying to play a song or ditty to be tension building, but this almost makes you want to run away from the arcade cabinet. Gosh, oh my god, it's so bad. It's because every time I fire the shot, it's looping the same track over and over again. And it looks like this is the base. Whoa, I can't believe I dodged all those shots. Wow, it is fast and frantic, though. Okay, I got my second shot back. I should have done it. They took it away for one of the stages for some reason. Yeah, it looks like it reduces firepower when I get shot, but not so much like Moon Cresta. It's not as impressive as that. All right, let's go in again. Skybase still seems pretty generic, like something we should have seen around 1980 rather than 1982. It's probably something you haven't heard of because it's by Omori Electric. But to be fair, a lot of the games we saw as space shooters were started by very famous companies like Sega, Nintendo. They all saw how impressive Space Invaders was, or Galaxian by Namco, and then or Taito, and then they said we need to get in the craze and make our own game, and they did. So this is kind of like the same idea, but no one's heard of Omori Electric. They didn't go in to do anything else after this, at least from my sources. Yeah, the repeating music is crazy. Yeah, it has the same star field as Moon Cresta, and has a little vibe of Moon Cresta, but not nearly as impressive. Oh gosh. Yeah, this is... I think it's just random. Wow. Yeah, so quick. And whenever you start over, this is the death, and you begin at the beginning again, so you can't continue through each one of the screens, or it doesn't save a checkpoint. And we've seen arcade games already do that. This one does not. You'll go right back to the beginning, and you got to go through each phase, hearing those lovely tunes. I don't know about you, it'd make me want to just mash into the arcade cabinet if this is really what it sounded like. But most likely what we're getting is any obscure arcade cabinets to emulate them now. If they didn't get a lot of love, then most people aren't going to spend the time to get all the pieces emulated correctly. So I would say this is not exactly how the game would sound at the time. It's starting the song, but it's just looping the beginning after a couple notes whenever I fire. Shots look like they're going through the meteors, but I still have my second shot. Okay, it saved me on that one. Okay, we made it through. Now we're on the next phase, the Phoenix-like phase. All this kind of began with Gorf. Gorf was an arcade game that blended lots of different genres. and we're dying pretty fast now. Yeah, gone. Wow. Yeah, so the aesthetic feels the same as what we'd expect from something around 1980-81. At this point in 1982, I'm going to say of all the arcade games you could play, it's pretty average. I'm going to say 3 stars for Skybase. And just bear in mind, we're playing the first release, which was in Japan. This came out in other regions as well. But if you went to an arcade, think of all the games we've seen to this point. All the arcade games. This is the golden age. There's so many good ones out there, especially from Atari. I would just pass this one up. It would just be just another arcade game. So 3 stars for Skybase. Looks like Victor's with me on that one. Let's press forward and see our next game. Here we go on the Atari home computer. This is Snooper Troops. The first one that we've already seen on Apple II, and now we're going to be checking it out on 2 other systems. This one was for around ages 10 and up, so an educational / adventure title. And Snooper Troops is another one that if you take a look at the front, you can see it's geared a little bit more toward kids. Spinnaker is the one that did this one. They did educational games as well, but it's kind of a precursor to other popular ones we're going to see later. I'd love to know if someone played this at school or it was a game that they checked out, because it's more than just a game for younger children. It actually has a lot of elements that are very good for video games. You can see it's also on Commodore 60. Well, I don't know what Commodore 64 is. We haven't seen that. But this one we're going to play on Atari. You need 48K, and you flip it over in the back. You can see this will be some of the story we'll get, but it says the educational value is it's a detective game that helps you organize information, develop vocabulary skills, and reasoning skills. If we have to do learning, we might be turned off. All right, so any other artwork we have for Snooper Troops? There we go. So Spinnaker, this is the advertisement flyer, and the other games by them. Story Machine, Face Maker. I think we've only seen Snooper Troops so far. And there's the 5 1/4 floppy disk that you put in your Atari. All right, so let's pop in Snooper Troops and play. It's sometime in May 1982 by the Computer Learning Connection and Spinnaker. Spinnaker? I'm not sure. If we play games that are for early childhood, then we're going to be breezing by and not even ignoring them. But this one actually has some value as far as a video game. There's a Granite Point ghost. Is there one? Police don't think so. On April 6th, someone tried to scare the Kim family right out of their home. Have a look in your Snoop book while you wait for the program to load. Okay, so give the kids something to read while they're playing the game. So here we go. This is the Snoop book. Case number 1, the Granite Point ghost by Tom Snyder. Is there a Granite Point ghost? The police don't think so. Someone's trying to scare the Kims out of their home. Now you're on the case. How many weeks will you need to find out what's really happening at the old Cable Mansion? Police think Bloom looks suspicious. There's 7 other suspects too. If you find the guilty one, you'll get a complete confession. So there's a lot of elements involved in this as far as an educational title, and it's more than just some video games we've seen that go for an arcade style game. As a detective, you got the Snoopmobile, wrist radio, flashlight, camera, pencil, and the computer, the SnoopNet computer. This shows you how to play the game on Atari and Apple computers. This is what we use. WSAD, that's kind of ahead of its time. And then X to move around, S to stop. Yeah, right. Poltergeist. I guess the ghost, though, is more like, think of Scooby-Doo. You know, is it really a ghost? We're not sure. And then for IBM computers, that's what you would use. The spacebar is going to allow you to go inside the headquarters, go to houses, go to phone booth, turn off flashlight, just pretty much everything. And it says, in other words, if you're looking for a button to push, spacebar is going to help you out. Now, I think on Atari, we can use the joystick. It would make sense to plug in the VCS to play. And then use this as your case file. So this involves reading a little bit more on the case. And it also has you playing as a detective, which is fun. We've already played the Infocom release of Deadline, and that one's a fantastic game. This one's kind of a watered-down version, or not as complicated version of that. And then what happened on Thursday at the old Cable Mansion? The Kims sit down at dinner. The dining room lights go on and off 6 times. Alice and Jennifer do dishes. Amanda does homework. Sam Muddy goes out for a walk. Loud bell sounds come out of the walls. Lights go on and off. And then the Kim Siamese cat in the bedroom goes downstairs. The phone rings. Neighbor complains about the noise. And then the bedroom door is a mess and the cat is missing. So this kind of breaks down the beginning of your sleuth skills. And then it goes through the family and then the background of the Kim's house. The different things that you need to know to help you be better on the case. And then we have all the suspects. There he is, Angelo Bloom. And then you have notes you can take in the book. And I'm surprised we have a scan of the book without the notes taken. Because if I had this game, I'd be writing the notes and this would all be marked up. So pretty cool. All right, so is it loaded yet? We read our Snoop book. We're ready to go. Snooper Troops, the Atari version by Bruce Brown. Way to go, Bruce. I guess until we play it, we're not sure. Is this your first day on the case? Yes. What agent would we like to be? Let's be Agent 1. And that just basically means your save file. So we're joining the case on Monday, and when we played this on the Apple II, the only complaint I had was the load times. Are kids really going to wait that long, or someone wanting to do a game if they're younger? Because it took a while to load. So we're at the Snoop office terminal, license plate number 4. We begin at the beginning of week 1, and then this is a kind of a timed game. So every time that you get clues, it's going to progress through time, and you're trying to be done with the case by the end. And whenever you play every time, it's a different suspect. So you're not sure exactly who it is. And in a way, it's kind of almost a very early precursor of Carmen Sandiego, too. All right, so wrist radio message is Monday. There'll be a special message for you until the end of Monday. I'm trying to see if the VCS joystick works. Right now, I don't think so. It might only be keyboard command. Let me see. Moving around. Yeah, no. Darn, what a waste. Plug in your Atari joystick and nothing happens. Okay, so you can go through different things on your computer. Let's go to people. And then whose file? We can read. Let's do cable. And it loads that one up. And this tells you information about each person. See, look how long this is taking that long for the text to scroll and move across and load the next one. And there's no way to prompt or move to the next screen. It's just scrolling across whenever it wants to and then loads the next one. Can I get out? And then that's how you would call if you wanted more information. So you'd have to get your Snoopmobile, drive to the phone, remember that number, so you'd be taking notes as you played the game, which wasn't uncommon at the time. There's so many adventure games already out there that you would be taking notes, drawing maps, and so forth. Yeah, you called it Deadline for Dummies, because Deadline was the cream of the crop. I would say that was one of the best computer games you could play at the time. Crossover with the X-Men, that'd make it more interesting. See, it's still going, and I don't want to do that one again. Let's go out of it. Let's do the special message. So this is just you taking notes for the game. Paige tried to rent the cable place, but the sisters would only sell it. And you have to wait for that. Can we leave? Yeah, L, get out of here. Leave. We want to go travel and move. And that's how long it took to leave after pushing the L button. So let's leave out of the office, hop it in the Snoopmobile, and now we can be able to move around, which is a nice touch when you consider all other adventure games we played. Okay, so at the cross street, let's go to house number 2. Whoa, I didn't mean to go that far. It's still going. Did we crash? You can crash it? Bad brakes. Off to large garage for repairs. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I thought it was not allowing us to really control the car, but we have to drive it. I thought we just tap it and it moves to the next one. And now we're waiting for a tow truck? I was not expecting that. They wanted us to actually drive around. I thought it would be more of an adventure game where you're just move to the direction, then you wait a little bit. All right, so can we go in? Building number 9. Okay, so we're stopping at 9 Large Street. What question? We can ask questions. Where? So that would be the big part. And look at this, they even have graphics too. So when you move to different houses, you are not just staying in one place, and it's a more advanced text or graphic adventure game than most graphic adventure games. Wait, can I move? Whoa, and I can get out of the car and move. What in the world? Does the joystick work for this? It doesn't. Still, the Atari VCS doesn't work for this. That blows my mind. And then when you want to get to the house, I guess, can I go in the window too? Go in the window. No, it doesn't work. Go in the door. And they got the animation for the door? Wow. What is your Snoop license number? Uh-oh. 1? It doesn't look right to me. And this would have been, we have to go back to our manual, because the manual would say what our license is, so they won't treat us like a detective. Oh, and there's someone running away from the scene of the crime. So I just wanted to give you a quick taste of the Snooper Troops game to see it's more advanced than most other graphic adventure games we've played. Even though it's geared for 10 and up, it's really impressive they're adding all these different elements in. Now, it is, like we've seen with most games, far ambitious to be something truly enjoyable, because you can see the slower load times, we have the slow text crawl, and so it would take a little bit more patience to play, but still for the time, I'm going to go for 3 stars, just like we did on the Apple II, for Snooper Troops. An amazing, yeah, adding animations, though, for a game like this is really, really, really cool. Yes, I had the wood panel station wagon. Anyone else? And then for our next game, it is the same Snooper Troops on MS-DOS or IBM PCs. So again, we're just going to pop in and play a little bit so you can see slightly what the difference is. Same box, it's all by Spinnaker. Computer learning connection at sometime in May 1982. Maybe this one will load faster because you needed to have some more memory to get this one going. Is there a Granite Point ghost? Yeah, it loads a little bit faster. Oh yeah, look at the colors. Beautiful. Snooper Troops and the case of the Granite Point Ghost. Now, they're wanting us to read the manual, and the manual, of course, they're referring to is this, the Snooper Troops manual. You'd be writing notes and referring to the manual to help you out, especially with how to play controls. Now, this one definitely works with only the keyboard. Is this our first day on the case? Yes. We'll be agent number 1, joining the case on Monday, and I think this one is going to go a little bit faster than the Atari home computer. Snoop license number 7. Oh, there it is. See, we should have remembered what they gave us last time. All right, so leave. Dialing the central computer. SnoopNet connected. Wrist radio message. Tuesday, new Snoop license has been assigned. Your license number is now 3. Oh, it's changed. Okay, we have to remember that now. And all this you'd be doing, taking notes in the manual, or maybe notes on the side. And we'd be doing the same thing with other adventure games. All right, so what command do we want? Let's get out of here. I want to see this mode. Here we go. Okay, so if we want to move around, I believe it's 4, right? Yeah, there we go. And then 6 to drive. No, stop. Waiting for I crashed again. So when you move one direction, it continues to go that way, and you have to you have to actually steer the car, which is so bizarre. To go from an adventure game and you're turning and driving a car, it just seems way out of place. I think with most adventure games, you'd want to push the button and then go there. All right, so we're off to the Larch garage, but adding driving in is just so crazy. All right, let's see if we can do this again. So we need, and then 5, right? Did I crash again? Oh my gosh. It is the number pad. So you're essentially using 2, 4, 6, and 8 to drive around on the IBM PC. It was a little bit easier on the Atari because they were using the WSAD keys. I didn't know I was going to be driving in an adventure game. And we've done this before. There's a pretty good one that Sid Meier, one of his first games was, and it played really well. All right, so if I do spacebar, let's go back here with 4. Oh, and you go faster? Stop, 5. Oh my gosh. If you push the button over and over again, you just go faster and faster. Okay, nice and easy. 4. There. Okay, we stopped at Large Street where we want to go. And then here we can ask questions. Where? Ask suspects things. And here it is again. Look at this. Walking up. Okay, so we're license number 3, I think now, right? And spacebar. Animation of the door? What? What is your Snoop license? It's 3. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Yeah. Can I actually ask a question? No, I can't type anything in. Get off my property before I call the cops. I am the cops. There's my station wagon, though, down in the bottom left. Or bottom right. There is a ghost, and I killed him. All right, so we can just move our way back down. Look at this. And the same person running by. Obviously, it looks graphically different, but, I mean, what the heck is this? We're moving around. Can I go to... Yeah, come on. As soon as everyone gets out, get off my property. And so you move yourself around freely on an adventure game. Just seems so bizarre. Get in the Snoopmobile, let's go. And you push the wrong button and you crash. But if you tap the button twice, then you move around. Okay, so again, way ambitious, but it is extremely clunky for adventure games. It's almost like they're doing too much. But I'd still say of all the games we've seen for the time, I want to go 3 stars for Snooper Troops. And the reason I'm showing it is not because of the educational value. It's because it's very impressive that they did all this for a game at the time. Yeah, so whether it's on Apple II, Atari, or IBM PCs, it is a pretty good game for 1982. And with that, let's press forward and see our next game. We are back on the Apple II. This is Space Cadette. Space Cadette has a weird history because the box and artwork, we couldn't find that much, just some screenshots. This one is taking the idea of Targ and adding a few things that are new to it. And whenever it was re-released by Datamost, they called it Space Cadette, but K-A-D-E-T, that you can see here. I mean, look at that guy. That's awesome. And with the high-res graphics, pretty cool. So we're going to play the first one, which was by Funtastic. Dan Ilowski did this one. So there you go. For versions, we have the original Space Cadette with a C by Funtastic, and then Space Cadette with a K was re-released by Datamost. So let's pop in and play Space Cadette. It's in May 1982 by Dan Ilowski. Here we go. I want to play some Space Cadette. As usual, we get a cracked screen because we wouldn't be able to play this without them. Wherever you are. All right, so this one gives you lots of options, and we're playing on the 2-player simultaneous mode. So I'm on the keyboard on one side, and this is me moving my craft around. I'm outside of a boundary, and I cannot fire, but I'm pretty much like in the safe mode. I'm going to work my way inside, and then you can see I have a fire button, and I create force fields. And I can use my shots to blow up the force fields the enemies create, and avoid their shots. And see, every time the enemy moves past... Oh, see, I should have waited. Every time the enemy moves past, they create barriers and force fields. If you look down at the bottom of the screen, you're creating the total amount of force fields possible until they regenerate. So I have plenty I could do. Let's move ourselves up there. And you can see I have in the bottom left corner that those dots for the because on the purple ship is generating more that I'll be able to create, and they're pretty much used as protection. In a way, it's almost like you're playing for space. You're trying to capture as many space as you can and set up as many force fields as you can before the enemy does. So it's almost like an eternal tug of war that you're playing. Obviously, taking the example of Targ that we saw first in the arcades. Go, go, go! And we've already seen a few different ports of Targ, but nothing like this. Nothing has been this ambitious. Changing it up and adding the force field element's pretty cool. But you still move around, charge, And as you capture and get your force fields out there, the enemy is also doing the same. They're creating force fields, and you're blowing the enemies up or destroying their force fields. You can see I don't have any force fields I can create yet because it's charging up. Down to the bottom right. Now, we did the two-player mode because I wanted to show you what it's like to play not just by yourself. You can actually work together with another player simultaneously. So over on the far right side of the screen, let me switch myself around. If you look over on the far right, there's another ship in the bottom right corner, and that player can be playing as well simultaneously. So you're huddled around the keyboard playing this game, and you work together creating force fields. And then there's also an element of challenge because you are doing the let's make more of my purple force field, and they're going to be making green force fields. So it's an incredible concept. We haven't seen this exact idea, and it plays pretty simple. The only gripe I would say is it's not running with joysticks. Every iteration I've seen uses keyboard controls only. So you and a buddy would have to huddle around to play. And you can see here I got pretty much domination of the entire board, creating the force fields. There we go. Did I cover everything? Almost. I gotta get down to the bottom. Here's some more coming in. Let's take them out. You can see they're destroying them. And you can pretty much set up a base if you wanted and hide behind the force fields in the bottom. Let's go, go, go. Get in there. Get all of them there. Oh, yeah, he snuck in and shot me up. So a really cool idea, a really fun two-player game that you can play at the same time. I think this just continues on forever, but no, it looks like after so many lives, I'm out. So now this would be the second player would be taking over to play. An interesting, but a little complicated to understand unless you're playing it yourself. But Space Cadet, I say that's awesome. Really cool idea, especially the two-player. The only reason I would fault it is just, where's the joysticks? We need to have it'd be a better experience. But also go 3.5 stars for Space Cadet on the Apple II. Whether it's the Datamost or the Funtastic, Space Cadet's pretty cool. Yeah, 3.5 to 4. Yeah, I like the original concepts. That's what really cinches it. Oh, 4-star for Manly Stranger, yeah. Two at a time. I just wanted to know practically, though, if you had two people surrounding your Apple II keyboard playing at the same time, because you need essentially 4 keys for movement and 1 key for fire. So you're using 5 keys and the other person's using 5 keys. I don't know if it would work so well that way. Computer. All right, so after Space Cadet, let's press forward and see our next game. We're next going to England. On the Nascom, this is Space Invasion. Another title that came out, I believe, in 1981. So this isn't the newest, freshest game, but still wanting to catch up on all those games we missed on the Nascom. No artwork, just a few screenshots. Let's pop in and play Space Invasion by Level 9 Computing. As usual, we are sliding in the chip to play. Graphics, yes. How would you play without graphics? Sound? Wait, sound. There's no sound on the Nascom. We'll say yes. I don't think we have anything in this system because the Nascom was originally you built it yourself, and I don't think we have any sound or any beeper on this. We'll see what happens though. Okay, press a fire key. All right. Oh, they're having us map it. All right. And then do we want to practice? No, we're here for the real game. Type N, G, or E. Novice, good, or expert. We are good. Number of players. Let's try 2 players. Is it simultaneous? Okay, we are in. We are playing... Oh, okay, it's Space Invaders. Of course, Space Invasion. How could I not know? Okay, so I'm at the bottom of the screen, and we played a lot of different characters here on the show. I believe I am currently the Sigma symbol and the Division symbol. I don't know what that is on the far left, but we're still using the characters that are on the Nascom. So as far as graphics go, it's just using the character set. Whoa, and they use the explosion for it? That's awesome. Yeah, it's just 2-player alternating, so... This is still the same controls that I had before, moving left, right, and fire. Keyboard controls only. It is a bare bones Space Invaders way to play. But it's Space Invaders if you want to play some on your Nascom. Just very bizarre with the characters. Can I hit this UFO? No, missed it. And it's even giving us the bases like Space Invaders. Yeah, maybe it's buildings that they're going for, or skyscrapers, possibly. Oh, Manly Stranger about the 2-player space war. Yeah, yeah. If it worked, then I'm with you. And then going back and forth, player 1 or player 2. Yeah. So there, man. The explosion's a cool idea though. Using the character set and having the shrapnel fly across. Look at that. Oh, hit me again. Come on, blow me up. Any day now. Boom. I like it. Well, even though it was 1981 when we got Space Invasion, I'm still going to say of all the titles, it's subpar. As far as games go, it's a little slower, clunkier. I mean, it gets the job done. If that's all you had, then you'd use that. But even for 1981, I'm going to go 2.5 stars for Space Invasion. Yet another Space Invaders clone. All right, and with that, let's see what our next game is. This is another one on the Atari home computer, Space Shuttle Module 1. Let's take a look at Space Shuttle Module 1, starting with the box. Oh, here we go, by Paul K. Kindle. Way to go, Paul. I don't know what they're going for the front of the box. This is a Space Shuttle simulator, and they're just giving us a few pictures showing, I guess, what it would look like in the cockpit, but very bizarre color. This is by Swiftware. Flip it over in the back, and we're going to take control of the Space Shuttle, an authentically detailed, full graphics flight simulator of the complete shuttle mission. From the fully instrumented cockpit, complete with 3-axis automatic pilot, fly the Space Shuttle through liftoff, complete with booster stage separations, orbit, descent down the glide path, landing in the desert, assisted by a chase plane, descend to the scrolling runway visible through the cockpit window, flight crosswinds until you hear... Wow. So this is... Yeah, we'll be fighting the crosswinds, it says. And you can see it's all the different parts of taking off from Earth, going up in, and then going back down. Yeah, I'd say back of the box is pretty awesome. That sells it a little bit more. And here's the ad we would have seen by Swiftware, or a Space Shuttle. Fly the Space Shuttle from your Atari. Join the crew of the Space Shuttle as they prepare to take the next step into the world of space travel. So it is May 1982, and this is the release of a Space Shuttle simulator. We've already played flight simulators, a few of them, and they are a little slow considering the other games you could play at the time. It does take a learning curve, and you have to have the manual handy. So how scary would the Space Shuttle simulator be? It takes a while to get used to, that's for sure. There's our 5 1/4 floppy disk. Space Shuttle Module 1. Recommended for use on the Atari 810 disk drive. All right, we definitely need the manual for this one. So this one I released 2 different times. This is the very first manual you would have gotten by Paul Kindle. Join the crew of the Space Shuttle as they prepare to take the next step in the world of space travel. And this explains you're going to be going through all the different steps. And at the end, you receive a rating and point score depending on the success of your flight and the command level you select. There's 5 different command levels, novice through commander. Complete missions possible, or in a training mode, you can separate all the missions and fly them individually to practice, which is what we're going to do. We're not going to do the whole mission. Just even if you knew what you were doing to play the missions, would take 15-20 minutes, I believe, to get through the entire thing. Because maybe even longer, because it's simulating what it would be like. Yeah, slow and worse. So fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. All right, so Swiftware did this one, and it's the first thing they want you to do is familiarize yourself with the cockpit instruments, and that's usual for most flight simulators. We have the computer CRT. CRT? Oh, they explain it. It's a cathode ray tube. Thanks. And then the time, landing gear, your altitude direction, the range, throttle indicator, altitude indicator panel. All this is going to be on the front, and that's what you would need to know to play the game. So just bear in mind, for this show, doing simulators with a quick peek or sneak, it's a little tricky to do that. All right, then we prepare for flight. Boot up the game. Main voyage is the whole complete flight, and then we were going to be doing the simulator training. So that's what we'll do when we boot the game up. And then okay, so we'll breeze by the rest, because the rest of the manual is going through everything. How you select it on the computer, and then whenever you get to the first part of the main voyage, how to control and do everything. This sadly doesn't do too much with the Atari joystick. You are going to use the red button, obviously, but there's lots on the instrument panel. You're going to be using the keyboard mostly. All right, so let's pop into play Space Shuttle Module 1 at some point in May 1982 by Swifty Software. Oh, Swifty. Another one that we had cracked for us so we can play, Space Shuttle. They say adventure, but no. I don't think it's called adventure anywhere else. And if it says module 1, it makes you think maybe this is just one part of it. I have no information or no record of any other games besides this one. All right, so we want to do the flight training simulator. I'm going to hit B. Here we go. Now you can pick. What are you going to play as? We're definitely going as novice, so I'm hitting 1. And then what do we want to do? We can do launch and orbit, descent, landing, and then go back to the main menu. So it's 3 different parts here. Let's just show you what the first one, launch and orbit, looks like. Loading. Oh, that's right. Yes, in 83 we'll see that one. And it's kind of like whenever you played any simulator on the Atari 2600, you think, wow, this is so ambitious. And in a way it does work, but it just takes a lot of patience. Okay, training simulation. I don't know how this is going to work. There it is, all their instrument panels. You have to know exactly which buttons to hit. So I did a little bit of research ahead of time, so I'm familiar with what to do. There's the time and countdown. We're going to do liftoff. Ooh. And then support systems off. Go at max. What? No, the Atari computer crashed. What? It did. In the middle of the flight, the actual computer crashed. Okay. As usual, we don't know for sure whether the games are going to load or crash. Scary. All right, so let's try the different module then. Takeoff was a disaster. Let's try descent on the glide path. See what that's like. Oh, no problem, no problem. All right, so this one is the second module that you could play. I'm not sure what happened with the first module. This is running in BASIC, so it's possible. Or hopefully not that either. Whoa, check it out. Okay, so this part of the module, we are here around the planet. We're currently orbiting Earth. So this is the coming back and landing at Earth. Because the whole point of the game is you're taking off in the shuttle, you're orbiting like we are now, and then you make your descent. And so here, I think I'm going to do a few things. Yeah. So I'm just changing a few things for course, and we're going to lower ourselves down, making sure our trajectory is correct. And so you have to know which keys to press to work this part of the mission, because this is where it takes place. This view, and you're watching yourself orbit around Earth, which is very impressive. As we're coming around the other side, I don't know if you can tell, it's the squares that are your position. And so if you look on the far left side, that's us coming in, lowering down, nice and easy. Yes, retro rockets engaged. Looks like we're coming down in, is that New Mexico? Or Arizona? Ooh. And then now we go from this view, which is a side view, we show our shuttle. And let's go in. You have to change your position. And this is all mostly done with keyboard commands. But I mean, look at this. It's ridiculous. Yeah, let me turn autopilot on. If we ever get messed up, you can always have autopilot to help you out. Correct us back. Come on, autopilot, fix quick, or we're going to crash. To have any graphics for a flight simulator at this point in our journey playing every video game, it's still impressive to me. And with that, I'll stop that mode, and I want to go back and just show the last one. This is, if you want to do the full mission on your flight simulator, it would take a very long time. All right, so let's do last flight one. Again, we're doing novice, and then landing and touchdown. So this is all three, all programmed in BASIC. Very, very impressive. This is training mission only. Here we go. So after we've completed the orbit section, this is the last section. We're going to get ourselves lined up. We are looking for runway. Okay, looks like we're on target now. And you do control from the Atari VCS joystick your pitch, yaw, roll, and so forth, but it's really slow, really clunky, and you're better off using keyboard commands anyway. This is the very first time we played a graphic simulator of a flight shuttle. We've seen arcade-style games, you know, like Moonlander and so forth, but this one's the very first time anyone's attempted to do a space shuttle simulator with graphics like this. We've seen space shuttle simulators that had text only, but this is like the first of its kind. Someone that was daring to try a video game of this magnitude. Okay, stay on target. Chase plane's in sight. Where's our chase plane? Oh, there it is. So we have a chase plane that we use to help guide us in. Now we're going to look for the runway. Wait for it. And if I use the joystick, just to show you how to go way off, look, I'm going to turn my joystick way left. Watch how long it takes to respond. Still waiting. Still waiting. I'm going to be... Yeah, I am going off. You can see on the far left side, my roll. Yeah, I got a roll error. But it took that long. So it's very delayed. It's not... You don't feel like you're, you know, controlling a spaceship with your Atari joystick. All right, so there you go, a small taste of Space Shuttle Module 1. Is it ambitious? Oh, yes. Is it something we've never seen before? It is. We've seen flight simulators, but never a space shuttle simulator of this magnitude. It's a difficult game to rate because you'd have to be in the mindset, do you really want to experience what it's like to do a space shuttle? Because of the ambition, I'm going to go 3 stars, but as far as the playability for other video games, I would have gone lower. But I'll go 3 stars for Space Shuttle Module 1. Very well done, but a little too ambitious, at least for this time. Yeah, and also, how many people were going to enjoy this kind of genre of game? I don't know. All right, with that, let's see what our next game is. We're here on the IBM PC, and this is Squirm for all IBM PC compatibles. Let's take a look at Squirm by Texasoft at some point in May 1982. Ooh, not what in the world? Joystick on the IBM? All right, I'll try it. I didn't know that it's very rare to see a joystick here. All right, we want sound. Yes, we do. Let's see what Squirm's all about. Internal beeper playing, I believe that's Kookaburra? Kookaburra dances in the... Oh, this is weird. So I'm playing as another character on MS-DOS. So this is the face character. And so I'm in the purple one in the bottom left, but I'm avoiding the other snakes. And if I pick up a diamond, you can see I've added 1 piece to my... Oh, now I've added 2. So you're trying to pick up diamonds and avoid the snakes. So it's not the snake game you're used to seeing. But it looks like the other snakes are picking up the diamonds on the screen. And whenever they do, then I can't pick them up. But it's still a snake game. But it's a character only, and it's not really, it's not playing to the strength of the Snake games. It's not as fun because you have all this clutter, all these other enemies in the way. Do you want to play again? Oh, sure. Oh, they changed the ditty. I can't pin that one down. Anybody in public domain want to figure that one out? So you can see we just want to aim for the diamond, but if you hit another snake, you blow up. It's a snake game, but they didn't do it right. It's not very fun. And then they switch out the tune. But hey, they do it kind of like an arcade with a little ditty in the front. I'm still going to say it's a bad game, considering everything else we've seen for the time. Let's see. For bad, yeah, I'll go 1.5 stars. It's something that should be polished by now. You should know how to do a snake game. And they tried something new, doesn't work. So 1.5 stars for Squirm. Let's see our next game. It did seem a little bit fast. I was slowing down to, I think it was, yeah, it was going about 4.77. And it did seem still too fast. It was faster than that before, to the point that I couldn't even play it very well. All right, so this is Star Island for the Atari home computer. Let's take a look at Star Island, starting with the advertisement flyer. The most fantastic battle in the universe. Atari 400, 800 with 16K binary computer software. Available from your Atari dealer. And that's it. That's all we got is the advertisement flyer. Different versions, but we're going to play the first one. It is sometime in May 1982. Anthony Weber. Way to go, Anthony. And Stedex Software took care of this one. Star Island. Look at that on the Atari. Yes, we probably were. All right, so Star Island is, do we have any options? Okay, you could do 1 or 2 players. Very nice. And do we have... We do have different game modes. Okay, so I didn't find any artwork or paperwork to explain how this one works. But look at this, 14, 15. Yeah, 15 different game modes. Okay. Yeah, and this looks like Star Castle. Let's give it a shot as the 1 player. It is. Oh, wow. Look at this. And it wraps around the screen. Yeah, this is the Star Castle on the Atari. Or Star Island. Work our way in. Oh, yeah, got me. Now I want to see, is this 2 player simultaneous? Get ready, player 1. Oh, it's alternating play. Okay, so you don't play at the same time. I was kind of hoping, since you can plug both joysticks in. But nope, so it's alternate play. I don't have a second joystick in. Let's go back to 1, and let's switch up the game mode and play game mode 2 and see if that's any different. But wow, it feels really good. This originally was a vector-based or color vector-based game, and so they're turning it into this, which is a very well-done port to play. I'm getting shot fast on Atari. And I say that because it just feels really good. Using the idea of whenever you would play Asteroids, a multi-directional shooter, and you kind of feel the physics of the ship. So as long as I keep moving, I think I'm all right. Oh, yeah, this one's pretty good. No way. I'm going to try to get a little smarter on that. So you can see the force field around the outside. How well is it going to play? Oh, I think I got a piece of him. Oh, nope. One of the homing shots got me. And can I... Okay, so continual fire of the red button is the only way it'll work. It doesn't work automatically. But yeah, it feels good to play. And I'm thinking of the other games we played on the Atari home computer for Asteroid variant games. Like, this one plays as good or possibly a little bit better than the version of Asteroids you could have. Yeah, we got him on the Atari home computer. That one did allow you to have 4 players simultaneous Asteroids, though, which this one does not. But the control feels really good. Do I have anything else I can use? Yeah, let's try it out. Any keys? I'm looking for, like, force field or anything. No, it looks like we just have the single shot. Wow. Got it. Yeah, castle, fortification. So island really doesn't make as much sense. I want to switch this out to game mode 11. Usually when we play Atari games, oh wow, it's very difficult. So the higher up you go, the more difficult it is. Whoa, yeah, if you're ready for a challenge, that's the way to do it. Last ship, very akin to the arcade. Wow. Okay, yeah, so as far as the graphics go, it's spot on, and it feels really good. It's just it's very simple, not using everything that the arcade version had, and then not 2-player. But I'll still give this game, of all the games we've seen up to this point, 3.5 stars. Star Island. Very fun time on the Atari home computer. All right, Star Island or Star Castle, it's all good. Let's see our next game. We're back in England, and this is Star Trek II for the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. And as usual, I put Star Trek on there because we're going to be playing lots of Star Trek variants. And that's exactly what this is. No box or information I could find for this. Let's pop in and play Star Trek II by Sonic Software at some point in May 1982. If you played a Star Trek variant, you'll be very familiar with this one. Sonic Software's Star Trek II. Please enter your name, Captain. Standard Federation procedure. I bet I can't do... Yeah, I cannot do caps. Just one case. Which degree of difficulty do you require? Check this out. Difficulty number 1 is the brain of the ZX80. And difficulty 2 is the ZX81, and then you progressively get more and more difficult. And this is the way the computer is, which is hilarious. I'm going to go with a ZX80 brain. I hope that doesn't mean slow. Like actual slow. Welcome aboard the Starship Enterprise, Captain Chrono. Stardate 3132. Galactic War status says we have one of our ships left, 19 Klingons left, and then how many star bases left. It's up to you to save the galaxy, Chrono. Good luck. You'll need it. So here we go. This is like most Star Trek variants. We begin in a quadrant, shows us our power, time, torpedoes, and if we pull up the computer, this is the list of commands. We can see that we do in the navigate, battle stations is B, galactic war report. So it's a very, very generic strategy game we've seen time and time again. Yeah, it's lots of colors. It's the ZX Spectrum. So if you want to navigate somewhere, let's say, let's do in, and it's going to ask what quadrant. Let's go 2, 2. Go into quadrant 2, 2. And can we do a long range scan with L? There we go. So long range scan says, looks like we got 1, 2. So let's navigate to 1, 2. Is there any activity here? Long range sensors say, oh, not really that much. Or maybe I picked the wrong quadrant. And then you go back to the computer, you can take a look at your commands. You can also check energy allocation. We got 3,000 shields, reactors, pretty good. And then our smart bomb, which it pretty much means you just blow up a bunch of stuff, so you don't have to do the fight sequence. Press the number of energy fields you wish to alter or return to command mode. So I can do smart bombs now being converted to energy. And we have nothing there. So what if we do? Yeah, go back to command mode. And then, so I'm not going to play too much of this because we've already played so many Star Trek variants. There's going to be even more Star Trek variants. This is a bare bones version of it. It's taking the formula and making it very simple. So I'd say of all the games you could play at the time, Star Trek 2 is it's borderline bad and subpar because there's other ones out there that are done much better than this. But I'm going to go 2 stars. Pass by over this one. But if you only had a ZX Spectrum, I mean, play a Star Trek game, right? And do it before the licensing kicks in and people want to sue you. Oh, that's a good point. Good shout out. The summer blockbuster coming up in 1982 is Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. So I'm pretty sure there's no Khan in this one since it was only in May. We might give references of Khan later in the year if the developer wants to pop them out. All right, and with that, let's see our next game. We're next playing The Story Machine. Well, not really. This one is another one by Spinnaker Software that is straight up educational. Story Machine for the Atari home computer is you type in a story and it animates it on the screen. So it is very much an early childhood game, which means we're just going to breeze right by it. This is, if we were going to rate this as far as educational value and how well it works, it's very, very good. But for a video game, it is terrible. I'm going to say it really doesn't do much. I'm going to go 1 star for Story Machine. Not that it wasn't programmed well, because it does the job well, but all it is typing in and watching what you type in. So if you say, you know, the boy jumped, it will show you a boy jumping with a little cutesy animation, but not super impressive as far as the animation goes. But and with that, it's also Story Machine for your IBM PC, and just like we had before, Story Machine is you type it in and it animates it. So we're not gonna care. 1 star for Story Machine. As far as a video game goes, hey, and still no Khan. All right, and with that, let's see our next game. All right.
Day, dear.
Tired of doing the same old thing every night?
The same old thing.
Nights with Microvision. Meet Bradley's great new handheld
Microvision
system. Blockbuster, one of the 7 great game cartridges available, comes with the Microvision.
What in the world?
Cartridges to connect for.
It's not time to party. You play it with one hand. What?
Or hitting a jackpot in Vegas slots. So for new excitement, get Microvision, the programmable game system from
It doesn't make any sense. It's a portable game system for one person. Why would you be having a party? This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Milton Bradley Microvision, and this game is the very last release for the Milton Bradley Microvision. This is the first handheld to have interchangeable cartridges, and the last release, this one, is in Europe. So everything else that we've seen up to this point, if you want to check the links below, we've seen and played everything else for the Microvision, and this is the last hurrah, Super Blockbuster. Let's take a look at Super Blockbuster, starting with the box. Now, it is in Europe, so there's a version of the box in French. There's a version in Germany. So this one is the French version, and you can see it's called Super Casse-Brique, but this is Super Blockbuster. It's just an updated version of a game that's already been on there called Blockbuster. and they call this the 8 one that you could play. Flip it over in the back, you can see the graphics, which is kind of cool because you can't take a screenshot of this system. They just had to recreate it. And it is a breakout variant in the palm of your hand that you could switch out with other games. And there's only one other system we have, the Intex Select a Game, that allows you to do that. Everything else that you want to do in the palm of your hand, you just are stuck with that one game. Let's see what other we have for Super Blockbuster. We have, there we go, French and German. 2 different examples that you could play in Europe, and then just peering around what the side of the box looks like. And this is the cartridge you'd play on the Microvision. The Milton Bradley Microvision didn't have cartridges the way you think of like Game Boy or other handhelds we know now. This is the whole cartridge. It is the top of and the overlay and the buttons to play the game. So it is a whole package that you be mashing on the top of your handheld. That is the cartridge. All right, so I think we have the manual, but the manual is all in different languages. So I'm just going to kind of show you what it would look like. But since I don't speak German or French, we're not going to be reading the manual. We're just going to play it. So here we go. Let's play some Super Blockbuster by Milton Bradley, the very last title by the Milton Bradley Microvision. There we go. So down at the bottom, if you look over on the far left side, I have a spinner dial. And as I move the dial back and forth, that's how most of the games were played. And if you wanted to play this one, it's pretty easy. There's not a lot of buttons involved. It's only turning the game off and then adding a game mode. So here we go. Let's play Super Blockbuster in the palm of our hand. The graphics are one of the most rudimentary ones we've ever seen, and we've even played the Fairchild Channel F. But you can make out every individual pixel, and this is zoomed in. You know, you wouldn't be you wouldn't be able to see this as well, or it wouldn't be this big or blocky if you actually had it in the palm of your hand. But it's breakout, and it is played with a semi-paddle control, which is a very nice touch, especially when you want to play something like this. You can see how the brick doesn't come in contact with something. If it's diagonal, you have to actually hit it in the right spot for it, like that. And I think if I stay here, yeah, if you stay here, it just continues to bounce up and down the entire time. Isn't that weird? We have only 7 games. And I think this one was only in Europe. It wasn't found in North America. We had the original Blockbuster, but just not Super Blockbuster. And I think, does it go to another level after this? I'm not sure. Now, if you think about the other handhelds we've seen, there's been the newest release of the Nintendo Game & Watch that has the dual screen. That is the newest, freshest, most impressive. But you got to admit, even though this is playing something that isn't very graphically impressive, it's in the palm of your hand, and it could be able to be switched out for other games. Everyone keeps saying that, and I'm with you. This still beats out those crappy Tiger Electronic games we got. Now, I will admit, though, the Milton Bradley Microvision was very finicky. It wasn't the best system as far as battery life and how well the screen display was, because you're replacing, when you replace the cartridge, you're also replacing the screen. So there was sometimes bleed out, and it just didn't last very long. So if you know anybody that has the Milton Bradley Microvision now and it works, hold on to that. Donate it to a museum or something, because it might be going south pretty soon. All right, so pretty close to the original Blockbuster we played on Milton Bradley, but still good. Did it come with all 7? No, it's separate purchase. So whenever you when you bought the first one, I believe it came with just Blockbuster, and you can see it in the center there. And then after you bought the first one, all the other games you might be buying separately. It was the first of its kind, and this is our final hurrah with Milton Bradley Microvision. We won't be seeing this handheld anymore. This was the last release. So as the last release, I'm going to say still, it is really impressive for a handheld to be able to do this. I'm going to say this is one of the best handheld games you could play, not just for this one game, but for the system itself and how this plays for the system. I'm going to go all the way up and say 5 stars. It is just a breakout variant, but this is one of the best handhelds of all the handhelds out there. Oh, hey, Victor, you are chiptune. It makes sense now. I was hoping, because I didn't want you to miss out. All right, so after Super Blockbuster, that's where we got to put our video game playing on pause this evening. If you could go back to 1982 and play all these games, what would you rate them on our 5-star rating scale? That's it for today, and like I always say, it doesn't matter when these games were released, you can always find an exceptional game that plays well today. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.